eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Take the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Take the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Take the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Take the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. My bones. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Leaving darkness rolling in, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Let the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Eastern sun, melt the cold from my bones, curtain rise. Take the darkness from my eyes, breathing in, I'm pulling life into my lungs as a child. I am born again. Maybe I'll just keep going. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Join me in the peace song. Yet let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yet there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with love as our power. each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yet there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the 38th Annual International Hour for Peace. My name is Jay Slovic. I'm a member of Unity of Fort Collins. Today's events mark the resumption of the in-person gathering of the International Hour for Peace in northern Colorado after 3 years of online only. This is the first in-person Hour for Peace held since 2019. So congratulations for resuming this peace gathering in person. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Many thanks to the leadership and congregation of Unity of Fort Collins for hosting this event. Before we begin, please turn off your cell phones and electronic devices. We don't want your morning wake-up alarm to go off in the middle of the service, please. Does everyone have a program? Raise your hand if you still need a program. I think we can get you one, Carol. Excellent. I hope you'll take the program home and keep it as a reference. Our speakers, sponsors, supporters, and musicians are listed there. There's also a link to the Northern Colorado Hour for Peace website, links to our sponsors and other peace organizations in the program, so you can practice peace year-round. The order of service begins on page 7. Since our focus is on peace, please hold your applause till the end. More importantly, to help create and sustain a state of flow during the service, I encourage you to follow along with the program on the slides on the overhead. We have nearly a dozen distinguished speakers and musicians, so I won't be announcing the order of service. Please just follow along with the program on the overheads. The service begins with the Great Invocation.
Good morning. Dominic and I are very grateful to be here this morning to present the Great Invocation. The Great Invocation is a mantra that was telepathically given in 1945 to New Age writer Alice Bailey. And it was given to her by the Tibetan master known as DK. The Great Invocation is an instrument of world peace to help manifest the divine plan on earth. Regular practice of this meditation is believed to be a great act of service to humanity. It is a world mantra that has been translated into 70 different languages and dialects. Regular practice of the Great Invocation has been highly recommended by many, many masters and leaders, as well as our teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui, who is the founder of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga.
So we invite you to gently raise your hands in blessing position, facing outwards, in front of your heart, outside of your chest.
From the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of every person and every being. Let light descend throughout the entire earth.
And gently visualize the earth in front of you in a beautiful light descending upon the earth to the North Pole. And this divine light coming down to the equator, down to the South Pole. And then start making its way back up from the South Pole to the equator, back to the North Pole, and back to the divine.
From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person and every being. Let love descend throughout the entire earth. May God's messenger of love return to earth.
And gently visualize this beautiful descent of divine love coming down into the earth from the North Pole, down both sides to the equator, from the equator to the South Pole, and from the South Pole making its way back towards the equator and to the North Pole. And you may chant along and join in the Om. Om.
From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of every person and every being, the purpose which the holy masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend throughout the entire earth.
And gently visualize this descent of goodwill and the will of God to come down to the earth, descending upon the North Pole, coming down to the equator on both sides, down to the South Pole, and again returning to the North Pole, through the equator and back to the divine. And you may join in the Om. Om.
From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power descend throughout the entire earth. Let light and love and power manifest the divine plan on earth.
And gently visualize this beautiful descent of light, love, and power from the divine down into the earth, saturating the entire earth from the North Pole to the equator to the South Pole, and again making its way back to the North Pole. And you may join in the Om. Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace peace of the quiet earth. To you, deep peace, deep peace. Deep peace of the sleeping stones. To you, deep peace of the wandering wind. To you, deep peace of the flock of stars. To you, deep peace, deep peace. Deep peace of the eastern wind. To you, deep peace of the western wind. To you, deep peace of the northern wind. To you, blue wind of the south. To you, pure red of the whirling flame. To you, pure white of the silver moon. To you, pure green of the emerald grass. To you, deep peace, deep peace. Deep peace of the running wave. To you, deep peace of the flowing air. To you, deep peace of the quiet earth. To you, deep peace, deep peace. Deep peace, deep peace. Deep peace, deep peace. And now for Carol Skylark and Michael Stephen.
Wow, this is like 20 sunrises, these lights. Yes, and that was a sentence I wrote somewhere in there. Whoopsie. That was about, I guess it was about asking or parting yourself into an asker and a receiver. The idea being that balancing our opposites or differences, even to the point of two cells balancing the biology of the flow, is what I've learned working about 50 years with a practice called the Mentations, which is how to put your mind, ment, into your body. So if your two hands and your 2 feet are not in really profound communication, conscious of each other on the atomic and biological level, then just anything that you would do to encourage more of that is really what you can use the mentations for. So your hands, whoops, what's that? And your feet are part of a secret sort of sacred geometry that when they become aware at these points, the 4 points, they flood your system through your brain, because 2/3 of the brain gets the sensory and motor messages from your hands and feet. So also we know how long has it been that people have been praying and putting their hands together. Because, of course, there are neurons, we know from everything, reflexology, etc., that when the two sides touch and the neurons in your brain become moving the same way, that makes you whole and no dualities left. So encouraging your fingertips, let us say, to find each other. And then, of course, the prayer position does the whole thing, but we're going to go slow and just start easy. So if you put your hands in the prayer position and make it comfortable, however it is comfortable for you, make a little space. And then as the observer, we're going to just focus on, say, the little fingers and where they touch. So there's a communication there where the two are coming together, and the third is listening to the first. But this is another kind of balancing act that we're all very interested in. But anyway, back to your little fingers. So touch your little fingers. And however you are conscious or observant, do that with your little fingers. So you might want to dive in, smile in, watch, see, encourage, both to be equal in light. And then if one side is in your sense less bright, then the one that's in your sense brighter, how about you invite all those particles from the fingertip to flow across to the weaker or the needier or the one that would really love to get a full light bath and merge and meet her mate over there on the other side. So then there's no barrier when that happens. And you're opened into the huge space of the source. Thank you. So do it. It's lots of fun. And especially go outside. Put your fingertips into the grass, the earth, the rock, the concrete. It doesn't matter. And flow your mind into what you're touching. And receive from your mind well, not receive from your mind, but give back from your mind etc., etc. There's no end to it, of course.
Good morning. We will be sharing together the Healing Meditation by John Randolph Rice. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Now is the time of the new beginning. I am a co-creator with God, and it is a new heaven that comes as the goodwill of God is expressed on earth through me. It is the kingdom of light, love, peace, and understanding. And I am doing my part to reveal its reality. I begin with me. I am a living soul and the Spirit of God dwells in me, as me. I and the Father are one, and all that the Father has is mine. In truth, I am the Christ of God. What is true of me is true of everyone, for God is all, and all is God. I see only the Spirit of God in every soul. And to every man, woman, and child on earth, I say, I love you. For you are me. You are my holy self.
I now open my heart and let the pure essence of unconditional love pour out. I see it as a golden light radiating from the center of my being. And I feel the divine vibration in and through me, above me and below me. I am one with the light. I am filled with the light. I am illumined with the light. I am the light of the world. With purpose of mind, I send forth the light. I let the radiance go before me to join the other lights. I know this is happening all over the world at this moment. I see the merging lights. There is now one light. We are the light of the world, the one light of love. Peace and understanding is moving. It flows across the face of the earth, touching and illuminating every soul in the shadow of the illusion. And where there was darkness, there's now the light of reality.
and the radiance grows, permeating, saturating every form of life. There is only the vibration of one perfect life now. All the kingdoms of the earth respond, and the planet is alive with light and love. There is total oneness, and in this oneness, we speak the word. Let the sense of separation be dissolved. Let mankind be returned to Godkind. Let peace come forth in every mind. Let love flow forth from every heart. Let forgiveness reign in every soul. Let understanding be the common bound. And now, from the light of the world, the one presence and power of the universe responds. The activity of God is healing and harmonizing planet Earth. Omnipotence is made manifest. I am seeing the salvation of the planet before my very eyes, as all false beliefs and error patterns are dissolved. The sense of separation is no more. The healing has taken place, and the world is restored to sanity. This is the beginning of peace on earth and goodwill toward all. As love flows forth from every heart, forgiveness reigns in every soul, and all hearts and minds are one in perfect understanding. It is done, and so it is.
from this beautiful silence, we invite you to come into a proactive silence where your body speaks to your mind. Your mind joins in to being the feeler, seer, receiver, programmer, coach, and spiritual seeker director. And when they do that, electrons race through the universe. Your own magical light body physically flushing oceans of conscious particles. So smiling, a spoken word, a thought, creates the vibration of the meaning of the letters and the words, the word. And out there in the spiritual universe, all the particles gather to smile back with you. So, yeah, we being the source in our inner middle mind, places like chakras and glands and centers can be touched and can be smiled. And those centers can do it themselves. They can decide to smile. So I'd like us to sense into our middle minds and see how it is to make us smile. How smiling can you see your own going out? And the response of the angelic realm is joyous and can come back into your body. And you can surrender to it and let it move you around. Or you can direct it and create it and whip it into shape. So I want us to smile together and open to the realm of the spiritual smile, knowing that we're giving the directive, receiving the experience, and the wave and the field and the cloud of smiling can be felt by all of us, mind to mind, smiling, mind to mind, mind to mind, inner mind to outer mind. So let's smile up and around and let's arise. arise and expand and twirl. And let all of that smile be directed like an artist directing. How do we want to play with that? So I suggest we imagine that the smile is like the embrace around you, finding your feet. And your feet smiling back. Can you feel your feet smiling back?
Thank you, Carol and Michael. I'm back. Jesus the Christ said, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you." Please stand and greet your neighbors with the sign of peace. We'll take a 5-minute break. Nice to be with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here's your energy. Here's your ground. Here's the ground.
Hi, David.
Hello.
Hi.
I said that worked out perfectly. I said, I'm glad I'm not.
You know what? The funny thing is that I've only got to reading that you.
Thank you, Elise.
Of course.
Thank you. Let me once again welcome you to the 38th International Hour for Peace. Greetings and thank you to those who are joining us in the unified space online. In particular, I'd like to thank the coordinator of the Northern Colorado International Hour for Peace, Reverend Dr. Victoria Gardner. Dr. Vicky, yes, we can give Dr. Vicky a round of applause. She's been the coordinator for the Hour for Peace for the past 15 years. And thank you for holding an assembly in Loveland, Colorado. And thank you for facilitating all the local groups. Again, I'm deeply moved by the devotion that this meeting represents. 38 years of holding the International Hour for Peace, our distinguished speakers, our talented musicians, our dedicated volunteers, and our devoted attendees. I thank you for making this possible. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Larimer County Commissioner John Kafalis.
Thank you. Yes, it is like multiple sunrises being up here in the light. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for being present this morning. Thanks for including me. I'd like to express my appreciation to the Fort Collins Unity Church for hosting us, and I'm glad that Jay mentioned Dr. Victoria Gardner, who's been a driving force, and she was the one that invited me to join you, to be part of this community event. I really appreciate also the music, Elise, and the prayer and the meditation. And for those of you who know me, know that my life is often very hectic, and so it is really good for me, and I think good for all of us to slow down a bit, to focus on breathing, to focus on a little bit of prayer and meditation. So thanks for pushing me to slow down a little bit. As I understand what Victoria asked me to do this morning, and I'm glad there's a timer, and I will try to keep this succinct and brief. There were 3 tasks that I was charged to complete. You can let me know afterwards if I've been successful or how successful. The first one is to pay tribute to Father Don Willett. This particular Hour for Peace, I believe, is dedicated to him. The second charge or task is to talk a little bit about the history globally and locally of the Peace Pole movement. And thirdly, perhaps the most difficult thing, and that is to somehow, I'll do my best to convey gratitude and hope in terms of moving forward, especially in these very difficult and troubling times when we're dealing with all manner of war and conflict throughout the world, when we're dealing with the effects, the impacts of climate change, and how it disproportionately impacts folks who are poor, folks who are impoverished. I can't lose sight of that. I think that's important. But amidst all of that, I will attempt to offer gratitude and a measure of hope and how we might consider moving forward together. It is important to honor and pay tribute to our elders and for those who have come before us. And this 2023 Hour for Peace is dedicated to Father Don Willett and his life of service to others. Father Don passed on May 25th, 2023, just shy of 82 years old. And I believe he lived a meaningful life as a Vietnam War veteran, a pastor, a chaplain, and a kind human being who cared about others and our Mother Earth. Father Don served as the pastor of St. John the 23rd for 12 years, actually, from 2002 through 2011. And in the last 6 years or so, St. John the 23rd Church here in Fort Collins hosted the Hour for Peace. Father Don always graciously and genuinely welcomed folks from all walks of life and faiths. And I knew him to be a good practitioner of the Catholic social teachings, including the works of mercy and the works of justice, and of course, the Golden Rule. As part of St. John the 23rd's campus and community ministry, there was a vibrant and active social justice ministry that I was blessed to be a part of at times. In 2018, Father Don provided about $1 million toward an endowment to create the Father Don Willett Chair of Catholic Studies. To quote Father Don, "My dream was to create a program where people of all faiths will have a safe place to explore their relationship to God and one another. Be well and rest in peace, Father Don. Thank you." For those of you who may not know the history of the Peace Pole movement, it began in Japan, and there was a gentleman by the name of Masahisa Goy, who dedicated to spreading his life, spreading the message, may peace prevail on earth. Mr. Goy was deeply saddened and troubled by the death and destruction of World War II and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And he dedicated his life to trying to figure out how we can achieve greater peace on earth. In 1955, he came up with the idea of the peace pole and the message, may peace prevail on earth, in a moment of inspiration and deep prayer. The movement spread throughout Japan and then eventually throughout the world. In 1986, the United Nations had the International Year of Peace, and that helped to catalyze, to bring peace poles throughout the world. And I believe, according to the website, there are something like 200,000 peace poles in most countries in the world. Here in Fort Collins, those of us who have been around the block a few times, it was in the mid-'80s, about 1986, we had something called the Foothills Peace Center that was located on Remington Street. And one day, a peace pole arrived, somewhat anonymously, and we tried to figure out where did this peace pole come from. Many of us believe it was a gift from a good friend of ours, Joe Stern, who passed away about 10 years ago. Nevertheless, we decided that we needed to put this peace pole planted in a place where all can see and appreciate the message of may peace prevail on earth. We began by thinking, well, it might be appropriate to put it in front of City Hall, City of Fort Collins, in front of City Hall on LaPorte Avenue. And we asked if that could be done. And somehow at the time, the message, may peace prevail on earth, was determined to be too political, and therefore we were not successful in getting the peace pole in front of City Hall. For those of you who go to Old Town here in Fort Collins, you'll know there's a peace pole there. Ultimately, thanks to the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority and the business community there, they were okay with placing the peace pole there. And we believe that that's the mother peace pole. And since that time, we used to kind of keep track of all this. There are probably around 35 of these peace poles, all around town. There's one here, I believe, at the church. And I believe the instructions from Victoria are that those of you who are into selfies should go out there and selfie yourself with the peace pole. In any event, 35 or so. And I do want to point out that back in 85 in Michigan, there was something called Peace Pole Makers USA. And they were sort of a mom and pop operation, and they handcrafted peace poles. Now that operation has moved to St. Louis, Missouri. And if you're interested, and that would be one call to action, if you're interested in getting a peace pole, that would be one source, peacepoles.com. And they're handcrafted. There are also some that are being sold apparently in stores in town. Now I'd like to try and put some perspective on all this regarding gratitude and hope, and a call to action connecting the dots, peace, justice, and compassion in 2024. For me, there is much gratitude this time of year, Hanukkah, winter solstice, Christmas, and the diverse holidays we celebrate and embrace. Kindness is more present. And I am always hopeful that somehow, sooner than later, we can achieve the beloved community where there is greater peace, justice, and love, rather than war, oppression, and hate. As we embark on a new year, many people are happy and well. Many of us are privileged. Many people struggle to survive and are sad and lonely. Indeed, there is too much violence and destruction in our world and at home, including the wars in Ukraine, Palestinian land, Gaza, West Bank, Israel, Sudan, and even here at home in Fort Collins, where too many people live on the streets without a home. Yet we cannot lose heart and give up hope. We must keep our eyes focused on the prize, relentlessly and without wavering, moving towards the beloved community. On this never-ending journey along the way, we must give thanks for our many blessings and fight like heck with love, courage, and compassion to make this world a better place for all. I'm grateful for my family, friends, community, and the small and wondrous miracles I witness every day. This sustains me and keeps me grounded and alive. And I invite you to join us to work hard and together for a more just, peaceful, and loving new year and future. I had some reminders and some suggestions on calls to action, but perhaps we can talk about that afterwards. I do want to remind folks that it is always better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and therefore we should listen twice as much as we speak. And rule number 1, pay attention. Make informed decisions. To ground us in the world here, we have elections coming up in 2024, and it is important that we pay attention and make informed decisions. I have some other thoughts, and perhaps there'll be an opportunity to share those with you when we have time at the end. Thank you all very much for listening.
I'm just a little taller than John, just a touch. Good morning, friends. First of all, I would like to thank Unity Church for hosting this most important event. When I think about this, I think about worldwide, right now. People are together praying for peace. Right now. I mean, that's pretty amazing to me. What a wonderful opportunity this is to come together with our sisters and brothers worldwide, to take each other's hands, to hold each other's hearts, and to direct our gaze unto the one who created us. Whether we worship him through Abraham or Krishna or Moses or Zoroaster or Buddha or Christ or Muhammad or Baha'u'llah, he is the same God, and he is the one who will lead us to peace. All of the religions of the past have always talked about peace. They have always said that there will be peace. Christ taught us to pray, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, if you can imagine. But we pray for it, therefore it will be. As a member of the Baha'i faith, I, as with all of us, firmly believe this without doubt, and our mandate is to work toward this world peace, because it will happen, with or without us, but it will happen. In the but it will happen, but we all are also taught through our religions that there will be difficulties before this happens. There will be tragedies and wars and rumors of wars as we all witness. All of the religions have taught this. But at the end, there will be peace. In the middle of the 19th century, Baha'u'llah, the prophet, founder of the Baha'i faith, wrote, The winds of despair are, alas, blowing from every direction, and the strife that divides and afflicts the human race is daily increasing. The signs of impending convulsions and chaos can now be discerned, inasmuch as the prevailing order appears to be lamentably defective. In 1985, the Universal House of Justice, which is the governing body for the Baha'i world community, wrote, "To the peoples of the world, the great peace toward which people of goodwill throughout the centuries have inclined their hearts, of which seers and poets for countless generations have expressed their vision, and for which, from age to age, the sacred scriptures of mankind have constantly held promise, is now at long last within the reach of the nations. For the first time in history, it is possible for everyone to view the entire planet with all its myriad diversified peoples in one perspective. World peace is not only possible, but inevitable. It is the next stage in the evolution of this planet. In the words of one great thinker, the planetization of mankind. Whether peace is to be reached only after unimaginable horrors precipitated by humanity's stubborn clinging to old patterns of behavior, or is to be embraced now by an act of consultative will, is the choice before all who inhabit the earth. At this critical juncture, when the intractable problems confronting nations have been fused into one common concern for the whole world, failure to stem the tide of conflict and disorder would be unconscionably irresponsible. I would like to offer a prayer now for unity and for peace. O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household in thy holy presence, that they are all servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have gathered together at thy table of bounty. All are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, conferrest life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with tenets and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all. Let the religions agree and make the nations one, so that they may see each other as one family, the whole earth as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise aloft the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father, God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes through the light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy holy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiving, and thou art the one who overlooketh the shortcomings of all mankind. Thank you.
The This is the prayer of Saint Francis. He's a favorite saint. He ministered to the animals and to nature, and also was a spokesperson for Muslims and the people who were being oppressed. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me show your love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Oh, divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved. For it is giving that we receive, and it's in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life.
Hamantakiapi. My name is Christinia Ayala, which translates into Spirit Lives, Now She Cries. That's my given name. And my spiritual name is Ta'ambatu Washte Otawi, which translates to Her Many Good Days, to talk about love and peace in indigenous ways. I was asked by Dr. Vicky to offer the name of George Bishop. And so when I moved back to Fort Collins about 34 years ago, he was one of the first people that I got acquainted with. And I remember I got acquainted with him because my son needed, he was going through some hard times, and I wanted him to see a therapist, and George was recommended. And when I saw him, I said, "Oh, are you indigenous?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What nation are you?" "Mohawk," he said. And we became good friends after that. And I found out that he had what we call a nipi, but which is a sweat lodge on his at his home when he was out on country club. And so we used to go over there and have ceremony together, which is always, I loved it. Yeah, and so we used to exchange stories about our people all the time. You know, it's his people, that area of Turtle Island, where the Great Law of Peace was first presented to the people in that area. And so he and I had a wonderful time, and I was fortunate because he shared a lot of his joys and his sorrows with me. I remember he was up in Canada visiting and taking care of his mother. That's where he was from originally, the Canadian side of that territory. And so I know that he lost his son, and I remember being with him and holding his hands while he grieved that, and he grieved it deeply. And then I remember the joy of his other children, that they brought him and stuff. He was a wonderful human being, and he did a lot for the community as a therapist. He was known by so many, maybe a lot of you in here knew him as well. Anyway, so I was really surprised at the suddenness of his crossing. In Lakota way, we just say he transitioned. We say we're going to travel the Milky Way until we get back to our home. And so he's traveling the Milky Way right now, But we also believe that when the spirit leaves the body, it lingers around for a while. In our way, though, it's for 4 days. They hang around for 4 days, and then they start their journey. Anyway, so I hope you all have a good memory of George in your hearts. I know I miss him. Yeah. Anyway, tonight I, was thinking when Dr. Vicky asked me to talk, I thought, well, I'm not really sure, the thing that's happening over between Palestine and Egypt. I've been watching it and keeping tabs on it, and how can anybody help but do that? It's right in your face all the time. And I thought, well, why do they keep us, I don't know. I don't remember Vietnam getting that much coverage, and especially when it comes to the children. But it's the children and the mothers and the families, the family unit, but especially the children and what the things that you read, the things that they show you. And so I just thought, we have something in the Lakota way, it's called walking, we just say we chose honey, which is a greeting, or like instead of goodbye, we say we chose honey on your journey. And that means to walk in balance with the 4 aspects of self that we all have. And that would be the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. I always like to add to the male-female energies that dwell within each one of us. And so that's how we greet people when they come to us, when they come see us, and when they leave. We chose honey. Be in balance, be in balance. It's one of the most difficult things sometimes with everything that's going on in the Middle East, is to stay in balance. But it's important that each one of us do stay in balance within ourselves, because then people can, I think that when we're in balance with ourselves, it shows to other people that come in contact with you, who come into your space. They can see that and they can feel it. And I think it helps them to say, how are you doing that? And you say, just, think about things, the higher things, I know that I have a personal mission, sort of, and that is to, we say that when the whole thing happened to our people, all the indigenous people of this continent, people say, oh my God, that must be horrible, and I said, well, yeah, it is, because our ancestors, we passed down the stories of what it was like, to be chased by men on horseback coming to kill us and our children, to have our land taken from us, to have created a bountiful environment for our family, for our children, for the next 7 generations, have that all taken away, and put into the open door prisons, like they're talking, or open air prisons that they're talking about. But we always counted on our spiritual journeys. Because we know that how powerful we are, and that's I was talking to Dr. Vicky about where true power lies. It doesn't lie with anything outside of ourselves. It dwells in our heart, and it dwells in nature that you see around us. I always talk about the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel is, the colors are, we start usually with the black, and we say that those are also the 4 nations of people. So we start with the black, and the black is symbolic of the West, and the West is where the people from that nation are the keepers of the water. And that's where true power lies. True power lies with the water, the lightning, the thunder. Anything can be destroyed by the power of water. And then in the north, we're the keepers of the earth. And the earth, when she's ready, she's going to get rid of all of us. We like to say, like, fleas on a dog, she'll just shake us and we'll all be gone. And then she'll really be happy, you know. She'll say, at last I can breathe again. Maybe because all the concrete and all the asphalt and all of the tall buildings will be gone. And she's going to be able to breathe. True power also lies, the real power lies in the sun, in the relationship of the sun with Mother Earth. You know, that's Father Sky, Mother Earth. And the east direction is the place of the sun, but it's also the place of the energy of women. So, and women are we call it Hehaka Oyate, which is like the Elk Nation, the 4-leggeds, the Elk Nation, and the deer. Those are symbolic of women. The sun rises in the east, right? And so the place of women, and the sun gives birth to a new day. It gives birth to the flowers that have to bloom. So that's what we say. And excuse me. And any time the sun wants to, it gives off flares. Okay, it gives off flares and can destroy internets and stuff like that. Solar flares is what they're called. And then the south is the White Nation, and that's the place of the eagle. And that's a place of I don't know how to. I can't remember how to say it. Anyway, so but the south is represented by the Wambligleshka, or the spotted eagle, because they fly the highest of any bird, anything. And so we see them as sacred, and they're a connection with the creator of all that is. The last thing I wanted to say is that we had a prophecy. They said with the colonization of this country that we were, the Lakota people were losing their way. But then our prophet, Crazy Horse, said, no, our ways will never be lost, because even with all the colonization and the boarding schools and stuff, we always will have at least one person in every family that will find their way back to the Red Road. And the day is coming when we will all dance, all nations, black, red, yellow, white nations, we're all going to dance under the same tree. We chose, honey, to each of you. What's this one?
Well, thank you, Christinia. I've been charged with the taking of the offering this evening and blessing the offering. But I'd certainly be remiss on behalf of Reverend Sharon and myself as spiritual leaders of this community in saying we're so grateful to have each and every one of you here. We appreciate you. And we want you to really feel that you are part of the beloved community, which John mentioned. A couple of weeks from now, I'm going to be speaking about that. Martin Luther King and Thich Nhat Hanh, and how they will become close friends, and what the beloved community is. So I'd like to call the ushers forward. And tonight we're going to be taking an offering on behalf of the organization that sponsors this event tonight. It's still dark outside. And if you have a check that you wish to make it out to International Hour for Peace. If you're planning to give an offering to Unity of Fort Collins, please do that in our 10 o'clock service this morning. Or if you're not going to be there, there's a basket over there. So this offering that we're collecting is for International Hour of Peace and their expenses. So on our screen, there's our offering blessing, and I'd like to invite you to take your offering in your hand, hold it gently. Just let that feeling of gratitude just course through every atom of your body. And let's bless the offering tonight. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Please join if you may. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace, I am safe, I heal from a whole place. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace, I am safe, I heal from a whole place. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace, I am safe, I heal from a whole place. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace, I am safe, I heal from a whole place. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace, I am safe, I heal from a whole place.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Gessler, and I am honored to be here. I want to thank everyone who's gone before here tonight. It's been amazing. And I want to thank Victoria Gardner for including me in this morning's service. I also want to express gratitude to two women whom some of you may not know, but you will. The first one is Beatrice Finn. Beatrice Finn is a Swedish lawyer. She formed the International Campaign Against Nuclear Weapons. And it passed through the United Nations in 2017, and it became law at the United Nations in 2021, January 22nd, 2021. Another woman I'd like to express gratitude for in helping that get through the United Nations is Elaine White Gomez. She is the Costa Rican ambassador to the United Nations. And she helped get much of the third world behind the abolition of nuclear weapons. I want to give a quote by General George Lee Butler, who was the head of Strategic Command. He was United States Air Force at the end of the Cold War. And he advocated to President Bush for vast reductions in our nuclear arsenal. And when he retired, he worked for the abolition of nuclear weapons. It's a measure of arrogance to assert that a world without nuclear weapons is impossible. Nuclear weapons do not provide security. It's a fool's errand. And what have we been experiencing here in the United States over the last 20 years? We've been going on fool's errands with our military. So I'm going to read a poem, and it's called Disarmament Now. Poetry saves lives. Activate our healing, Great Spirit. Does America, or the world for that matter, have the will to unite as a so-called ruling elites and weapon makers scam is only good for profits and mayhem? Poetry saves lives. Repurpose our life, Great Spirit. Bring home the troops. Have them save each other, our nation, and the rule of law. Us, let's cure our nation's addiction to war. Us versus them is passé. Nuclear disarmament is urgency. We're all in this together. And let our voices be heard. We, the people, will be the referee and the judge. The legions of veterans will be the liberating army of sanity. Stand down, warlords. We, the people, do claim our sacred ground, as the Great Spirit claims sacred spaces. Let's put an end to militarism and its madness, and in turn restore each person's dignity and self-respect. Seize the day and bless this moment. I want to make an announcement. In January, we're having our Peace Fellowship, 3 events at each library here in town, and there's some flyers over at the table. They look like this, and I'll read it. Join us for a discussion regarding the use of atomic weaponry on Japan in August of 1945, with a showing of the documentary film Atomic Cover-Up, which is 27 minutes. And I think if just a few of you come up, if we can capture the spirit that's here tonight in those library rooms, we might be taking bold steps toward peace. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much for your attendance and for making this event possible this evening. A special thanks to Reverend Jim and Reverend Sharon for hosting this event, the spiritual leaders of Unity at Fort Collins. Thank you to the staff, volunteers, and to the congregation for their dedication in hosting this event. Our goal is for people to practice peace all year long. Please take your program with you and contact the peacemakers and organizations on it. The program lists over 4 pages of our sponsors, supporters, speakers, and musicians. These are people practicing peace year-round, and we invite you to join them. We invite you to stick around at our information tables for more detailed information about our sponsors and supporters. There is more coffee available. Unity of Fort Collins is an amazing place. Now I invite you to stand for the benediction. Reverend Sharon.
So as we close, I invite you in your mind to see our planet and to see all of us, all of humankind, holding hands around this planet, feeling the oneness of who we are. So my brothers and sisters, go in peace to love and serve, and so it is.
Yeah, right.